This week begins the book of Bamidbar, in the desert. The medrash, the first medrash in the book of Bamidbar, takes us back in time to the days of the prophet Jeremiah. This situation was really bleak, and we, as the Jewish people, our ancestors, had really distanced themselves from God and had sinned in so many ways. And the prophet Jeremiah is urging to return. And our response was, we've gone too far. We've sunken too low. God is not going to come back to us. God is not going to reconnect with us. We've distanced ourselves. So the prophet Jeremiah tells the people, relates to the people what God told him. God told Jeremiah, tell the people, remember, think about the Exodus from Egypt. Think about how you went into the desert. Was that really a desert for you? You know, when even a king goes into the desert, he can't take his royalty with him. He can't take his palace with him. He can't take his delicious food with him in the desert. He's in the desert and has to deal with the desert like everyone else. But you had the palace with you. You were protected with clouds of glory from all of the elements. The sun did not bake you. The cold did not freeze you. You had delicious water to drink from a well that accompanied you. You had delicious food, manna that came from heaven. You were protected from snakes, from scorpions. And even as you traveled, if there was a valley in front of you, I straightened it out for you. If there was a mountain, I lowered the mountain so you can travel easily. You just think about that and you can return to me. So my teacher, Rabbi Leibowitz, asked the question, what is God saying? The people feel that they've sunken so low and distanced themselves so much from God. So God says, okay, wait a second. Do you remember? Think about the desert. Think about how I cared for you. Think about how I love you. Look what I did for you. So the Rosh Hashiva asked, what's the message of the desert to people who think that they have transgressed to such a point that God has distanced himself from them? Sure, God was nice to us in the desert. Sure, it was beautiful. That was in the early days of our youth when we just came out of Egypt. God had not given us the temple. God had not given us Israel, and we did not demonstrate our rejection of God through all kinds of transgressions. We had just come out of Egypt. Of course God was nice to us. But now look at us. We've sunken too far. What is God saying? Remember Egypt. Think of Egypt. And the Rosh Hashiva pointed out that what God is saying, look, when you left Egypt, look what I did for you. I gave you so much more than you really deserved. You go into the desert, you have to deal with the desert. But look what I did for you. I showed you that my love is unconditional. I showed you that my love for you has no bounds. Look what I did for you when you went into the desert. So this is the message that God gave to the prophet Jeremiah to give to the Jewish people who were so depressed and felt so forlorn and felt that they had sunken so low and distanced themselves that God is not going to come back to them. Remember the desert. Remember God's unconditional love. And when there's unconditional love like a parent to a child, and we are called God's children, no matter what we have done, we can return. We can amend. and God will reconnect with us. What a powerful message for all of us. All of us go through times in our lives when we feel, okay, yes, God, I'm really trying, but whoa, boy, did I mess up this time. And we feel distanced. If we could go back to Egypt in our minds and think about God's message of unconditional love, that could really open up the gates of our hearts. And, when it's hard, when a person thinks, oh, I messed up so much, I'm really not in the mood to think about Egypt. I really can't really project. And this medrash is teaching us, yes, that even when we're in the worst of feelings about situations, we can focus, we can change the picture, and we have the power to picture God's unconditional love, and that could propel us and move us into a new dimension of a refreshingly new dimension of closeness. Have a fabulous Shabbos.